Francois Saquette, followed by Robert Mabee, followed by Heather Grace.
Thank you for letting me speak. I'd like to play a video that I provided yesterday about what's going on at Gold Base in your district in Hemet, Mr. Stone. It confirms physical abuses, false imprisonment, wrongful death. That death actually happened in Clearwater, but it was all run by the leader of Scientology, Mr. David Miscavige, and the blatant lies about the critics. You're going to see somebody lying to the BBC and then later on saying that it was a lie. There's some 30 more claims that we need to prove, and I have a nice little pamphlet for you to show you some true facts about Anonymous versus Scientology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Because Judge Moody in the civil case allowed him to be named in an amended complaint. That was like the explosion of all explosions, that he was now potentially going to get deposed and be embroiled, and his name would be embroiled in that litigation. And I don't think he ever recovered from that, quite frankly. I mean, the guy was a deteriorating spiral from that point forward. He became progressively more antagonistic, violent, irrational. Regularly, David Miscavige would, in the middle of a conference, in a conference room full of people at the base, physically assault and punch, slap open-handed, grab by the neck, throw to the floor, a number of international executives. Mark Yeager, in the 2000s, I probably saw him get beat up pretty severely half a dozen to a dozen times. Ray Midoff, he would regularly hit this guy open-handed upside the head real hard and jar him. Mike Rinder probably got it worse than anybody else. I saw him get beat up at least a dozen times just in those last 4 years or so that I was in, and some of them were pretty gruesome.
Rinder walked away from Scientology about 2 years ago. Just before he left, Miscavige wanted him to put the brakes on a BBC story about rumors that the leader had attacked Scientology staffers. When the BBC confronted him in 2007, Rinder denied that Miscavige had hit anyone.
We're absolutely clear, as far as Mr. Miscavige is concerned, he has never come to.
Absolutely.
And he's
totally
not,
anonymous.
he's never
And
come
you're
to
anonymous. You're anonymous source.
Okay.
Anonymous source.
Okay.
Today, Rinder says he witnessed Miscavige physically attack church staffers and was attacked himself some 50 times. Amy Scobie, a former top executive who worked in the church for more than 25 years, says she too witnessed Miscavige's attacks. For much of her service, she was stationed at Scientology's base outside of Los Angeles, where her office cubicle backed up to a large conference table Miscavige frequently used for his meetings.
David jumps up onto the table and across the table at Jeff Hawkins,
The time is up.
who is a
What do they do?
marketing
Cut the
manager
video.
at the time.
They can bring it back next week if they want. Our next speaker will be Robert Mabee, followed by Heather Grace, followed by Gary Grant. Mr. Mabee.
Good morning. Over a year ago, when I first came before this board, Supervisor Stone said on video that I could speak before this board as many times as I want, but that the board would turn a deaf ear. Are you deaf and dumb, Mr. Stone, or simply an ignorant, corrupt politician? If so, I will repeat my statement each week until you understand. I have been before this board 56 times and have given to this board over 90 public documents, the brand U5 supervisors as thieves of the public trust. As retired Sheriff Bob Doyle said in the Press Enterprise February the 16th, the stench of corruption is in this room. I have 4 documents today that show fraud and cover-up in Stone's district. Even you 5 supervisors in your limited mental capacity should be concerned. Number 1, certified engineers' drawings before and after thousands of cubic yards of dirt was placed over a levee in project number 40030 for Riverside County flood control. Document number 2, a picture showing thousands of cubic yards of dirt placed over the levee and also encroaching into Batista Canyon access road. Even you 5, as dense as you are, can understand pictures. Document number 3, a memorandum to County Council Pamela Walls from Linda Hernandez stating that after researching the statute of limitations that under Civil Code 26528, if directed by the Board of Supervisors, the district attorney may bring a civil action in the name of the people to remove the encroachments in the public road. However, then, the Board of Supervisors, who also are the Flood Control Board, would then expose themselves as lying, corrupt, incompetent Board of Supervisors. As the work was done without any permits, it would require permits, county, state, federal, to remove the encroachments in the public road. As Flood Control Director Williams has said, it will cost a lot of money. You have the district attorney in your pocket. Number 4, a report by the U.S. Corps of Engineers dated May 27, 2008, describing the compromise of a levee critical to the water flow in the Batista Flood Control Channel. The report states that the flood control channel could fail because of the fill placed over the levee. The report explains in detail how the channel could fail in terms that even a fool or a supervisor can understand. Alongside the channel that could fail is a new Val Vista Elementary School, 610 children at risk. Would you have put your new $80 million animal control shelter alongside the channel? You 5 corrupt, incompetent supervisors admit covering over the levee, but have told the Corps of Engineers that you have no money to restore the levee to the original safe design. Over 4 years ago, Supervisor Stone promised me an investigation and audit, the same promise that I received from County Auditor Robert Byrd. You have all been up to the public trough too long. Mr. Stone, I'd like to ask you a question. I heard you all morning harp on tax money, that you don't have money for this, you don't have money for that, but you're going to cut everybody. When are you going to take the automobile that the county gave to your sister away? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Mr. Mabee. Heather Grace, followed by Gary Grant, followed by Daniel Ackerman.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak with my strange accent. I bring you greetings from Anonymous Australia and New Zealand. I'm going to show you an article that was in the Los Angeles Times yesterday. An historic event happened on Sunday, 2 days ago. 4 former extremely senior Scientologists have spoken up and given evidence of human rights abuses taking place at the international base, Gold Base, as you know it, here in Riverside County. One of those gentlemen you saw on the video that someone else showed earlier, and he has admitted himself abusing people and being violent towards other members of staff, and he has given first-hand evidence, eyewitness evidence, of over 100 incidents by which Mr. Miscavige, the man shown, the leader of Scientology internationally, Tom Cruise's best man, has perpetuated abuses of staff who live at that base. Victims of human rights abuses, victims of human trafficking, are among the most voiceless in the world. By way of background, I'm an attorney. I spent over 8 years working for the federal government in my country, investigating and prosecuting breaches of a certain area of our laws, and I'm just horrified at what I have learnt about the abuses that are taking place here in Riverside County. I appeal to you. I know that you have limited jurisdiction, but you do have jurisdiction that can be employed together with other levels of government. And human trafficking is such a complex and difficult issue to address that it does require a whole-of-government approach. And so I'm here today to inform you about this historic matter, to show you that there is a website of the St. Petersburg Times, a Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper, that has an extraordinary amount of information that's been disclosed in 3 reports, the 3rd of which was published this morning. And there are 10 or 12 videos, over 25 hours of interviews that have taken place with these 4 very senior former Scientologists. I implore you, I've come from Australia for this. People around the world are being affected by what's happening in your backyard. So we're watching. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grace.